Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where old friends and fans come together to bullshit, argue, occasionally agree, and discuss a musical artist. Today's artist is Faith No More. We are discussing their 7 studio albums. With me today, he's king for a day, Tim,
Fool for a lifetime, baby.
and he's a fool for a lifetime, Will.
That's all I'm coming. That's good.
Well, he's digging the grave. That's Jason.
Oh, I'm gonna be digging a grave on this episode, trust me.
We're just going to be Dear Jason.
We're
You're
talking
wrong.
Faith
These are
No
better.
More. If you're talking Faith No More, somebody who doesn't run out of faith is Father Callahan in the Stephen King novel Salem's Lot. Stephen King, we're still waiting for that retweet. Hey, that's no, that's not the CCR book. That's the
It's the
Buick
from
8.
Buick 8.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
There are Buicks everywhere.
Hey, Stephen King. If we were referencing Neil Gaiman, I bet he'd retweet. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hashtag Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, if that Shakespeare guy is so good, how come nobody's ever heard of him?
All right. Faith No More. Tim, how did you get it? No, let me go first. So,
Yeah, because Jesus.
yeah.
Your
Save
story's
that
a
for
little
the end.
shorter.
I didn't get into Faith No More. I heard Epic. It was good. It was a great song. I remember We Care a Lot. It was okay. After that, my musical journey went a different way until last week.
Which is super exciting for, I think, both Will and I, because our stories are going to be a lot deeper than that.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go refill my drink while y'all tell your story.
One
Go
of
for it.
us. One of. Oh, it's not going to be one of us.
Wah,
It's,
wah.
it's okay.
You want to go or you want me to go?
I mean, like, your story's probably longer just because you had more access to media than I did. I don't know.
Well, I mean, like everybody else, I think in the world, I found them, on the real thing because they were
Okay.
on
Yeah,
MTV.
same time.
Yeah,
I remember in 4th grade, my teacher, Mrs. Day, gave the entire class a survey that had favorite color, favorite artist, favorite movie, kind of favorite music, all that kind of stuff on there, and we stuck it into a time capsule that we opened at the end of the year. And I believe at the beginning of the year, my favorite artist was Paula Abdul, because Forever Your Girl is still a fire ass pop record, and you should love it. If you don't, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. It's just pop music. But at the end of the year, uh, my favorite album was The Real Thing by Faith No More because it literally changed my entire fucking life. Like, it was that big of a deal for me.
sure.
I got a story about Angel Dust. I got a story about King for a Day. I got a story about Album of the Year. Don't really have a story about Soul Invictus, but that's because I was too old to give a shit about making a story about it in my own internal narrative. But yeah, I love this band a lot.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah. Same deal. Because yes, Jason, that was all just Will.
Oh, I know. I could hear the whole thing.
No, yeah, I found them on the real thing. Um, it was actually a thing my mom really liked. Don Henley's "The Boys of Summer," and she really hated
Sounds
Faith No
familiar.
More's "Epic." So every time the Epic video would come on MTV, I'd be like, "Hey, Mom, Don Henley's on MTV," and she'd turn it on and it'd be Epic, and it was a fun little thing. But that was really the extent of it. And then I had a copy of the real thing in Angel Dust, like somebody had made for me on cassette back in the day. And that was it. I listened to them once or twice, but I was listening to other stuff. And then the story really begins for me when I heard the new single on TK 101, is Smash or Pass or whatever. And it was Last Cup of Sorrow.
I do remember that. Yeah, they were playing it on the radio for a minute there. MTV
Yeah.
play too. Yeah.
And I heard it and I went, that's Faith No More? That's awesome. And I ended up buying the album, falling in love immediately went out and searched the entire back catalog.
Oh wow. Okay. Shit.
And then shortly after that, like the first time I saw Patton live was in '98. I saw the second Phantomas show ever, and that was a life-changing moment. And then, you know, the year after that, California came out, and so between those 3 years, my world changed.
That's fair. Damn. Okay. All right. That's beautiful.
All right. So we have two people who Faith No More completely changed their lives, and one person that just started here and listening to him last week. This is going to be a fun episode.
Yes, it is. I can't wait to see. So, Jason, why don't you start us off then? What do
Why you
you
gotta
think
do me
is
like
worse?
I feel like we probably all have the same
Yeah.
bottom.
If
I
we
would
don't have
follow.
this one, then there I don't know what the fuck y'all listen to.
Well, I thought about flipping them.
You
Yeah.
would.
I would-
You
I would-
would. He's gonna
No,
pull a
but-
Saint Anger on us.
I thought about it.
So do we all have the same
Probably.
Is it all going to be We Care a Lot? Because we can just all have a group chat about it right now and take care of it. You know what I mean?
I've got notes now because remember this is my first
Yes.
time hearing this record.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
This is awful. I know the song We Care a Lot, which I like, but this version is shit. The Jungle is dumb. I did like Jim. Nice acoustic instrumental, good shit.
Played
Why Do You
fucking
Bother
night.
was decent. Like the music and lyrics to Greed. Pills for Breakfast, another instrumental, but opposite of Jim. I took off points for CCR having two instrumentals, but here it's good because they're two good instrumentals. Did not like as the Warm Turns or Arabian Disco, that 80s keyboard. Do not care for the singer. The songs are performed well. The production isn't that bad, and there's worse sounding first albums out there. Overall, blah.
I don't have a lot to add other than that, like, my impression of this is that it's the best mixed and mastered demo tape in all of musical history. Like the production is literally ridiculous considering the fact that it's just like a lot of half-assed, like there's like songs that start and they build and then they just kind of fade out, and most of these songs also don't even have vocals. Like it's just it's a good start, and anyway.
Well, I'll take the opposite side.
Okay.
I fucking love this record. I think it's great. Yeah, the production is pretty bad. I think it was done on 8 tracks in 1985. So
honestly, I thought
I thought the production was okay.
Yeah.
well,
It's crazy.
compared to the rest of the
Compared to the rest, no. Yeah, no.
But I think the Jungle's great. I love Mark Bowen. Why Do You Bother's great. Greed is great. Like you said, great lyrics. He's just right off the bat. Yeah, I know I suck. What you got? I think As the Worm Turns is actually like a Faith No More classic. And if you haven't heard the Patton version that they did on the Angel Dust Deluxe, that is worth checking out, as well as any live version. Like, you can say that about this, and I mean, the next album that anytime Patton sings these songs, the songs do come to life. And musically, I mean, right off the bat, man, musically, they sound like Faith No More. Yeah, you could, the cheesy 80s keyboards, the guitars will get a little crunchier. The vocals obviously get better. The drums are actually a little sloppier on here than I remember. But it's a great album. New Beginnings is awesome. It's not where I would start somebody with Faith No More. And yeah, it is last, on this list, but I love it. But yeah, it's flawed.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't love it, because like as a fan, historically it matters, and showing their development as a group of musicians got better and better as they got through. And
nobody else really sounded like this in 85. Like, they're just already just melding so much awesome stuff.
Like, I still don't understand how they got a major label deal. Like, it's crazy that this was even released. It does feel like the thing they submitted to the label and was like, yeah, we're a good band, you should check us out. And they were like, yeah, we should put that out. But it should have been like a single. It should have just been a single with like like an EP or something. Like there's a couple things that don't need to be on here at all. That's me talking shit on somebody I love very much. So it
I'll,
really doesn't do anything.
the only thing I'm gonna say is like for a first time listen of every single one of these albums, if that is not where you would want to introduce somebody, because if I gave that to somebody, they'd be like, I'm not listening
No,
to 6 more
no,
albums with this piece of shit.
right, right.
All right.
But it wasn't, like I said, there's worse first albums out there. It's way better than the first CCR record.
I would
And, you
I
know,
would say it's still better than the first Radiohead record too. It's better than Pablo Honey too, for sure.
Maybe.
Wow. I just made Jason make something complimentary about Radiohead happen. That's beautiful.
I like Radiohead.
Oh, okay. I thought they were hated. I'm sorry.
No, I like Radiohead.
Tim hates.
I hate Kid A, but I like OK Computer, Pablo, Rainbows. Anyway,
Stay
Faith No
tuned for
More.
that episode.
That's gonna explain some things, actually. I think. All right, let's go. Tim,
Yeah.
what's your number
Oh
six? What's
yeah,
your
it's
number
Tim's
6?
turn.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to follow right up with it, right?
All right. Okay.
It's the only album that hasn't had a deluxe remaster yet, so I am anxiously awaiting that. I think it's great. Yeah. Rest in peace, Chuck. We miss you. And it's hard. It's hard to be replaced by possibly the greatest singer living, and not look bad. Faster Disco's cool. And song's a little cheesy, but it's so infectiously good that you'll be singing it for decades.
Infectious is my key word for that song.
Yeah, for this whole album, really, it's so much fun. There's references to other songs, did you try to teach your cousin to walk, or did you try to teach him to fart?
It's very
R&R's great. The Crab song's great. Chinese Arithmetic, Spirit. I've been lucky enough to see Faith No More once in my life, and they did one song off every album. Off this album, it was Spirit, and that was awesome. Again, you hear Mike Patton sing these songs, and they come to life.
No, it's true. It's true. As in terms, for real, I went and listened to the deluxe editions of all the records today in prep for this, and I got to hear his version of it, and yeah, he makes it a song. Makes it a song.
Right, yeah. And we'll get to that, obviously, and what he brings to the band overall.
Yeah, but not you can't really count that with the album, though, like the actual
No,
album,
you can't. You can't.
And that's why it's 6th place, Jason.
To be fair, Jason, that's also why it's my number 6 as well. So,
yeah, I mean,
It's my number 6 too.
Yeah, no, I figured. I mean, it's very difficult not to rate some of these chronologically, honestly, because you can hear the development of the band as they continue to put out stuff, and it's just I mean, honestly, we'll get there, but whatever. I want to hate Ann's song so much, but like Tim said, there's so much wrong with it, but it's so infectious, and it will play on repeat in my brain for days on end. It's just crazy. Introduce Yourself should have opened the fucking record. I don't know why they didn't open the record with that song. It makes perfect sense, and it fits as an opener, and it's also completely infectious.
So trying to listen to it critically today after the millionth time I've heard it, but it's been a while since I've actually listened to it.
Yeah.
Listening to it critically, I almost felt like the album didn't take off until it played. Faster Disco's cool.
No, it's not a good opener. It's not.
But it's not a good opener, and then you get Ann's song. And then as soon as Introduce Yourself, the song hits, then the rest of the album is oh yeah, this is
great. For real, as honest to God, as a fan of this band for so long, this was the first time I'd listened to these 2 records. I'd never actually listened to them all the way through.
Musically, they stand up with the rest of them. They sound like Faith No More from the beginning.
Faster Disco doesn't really stand up to anything. They've made better songs that have the same kind of vibe.
Exactly.
I would say, even Chinese Arithmetic, which is a very good song. It's the first step into becoming the band that they became. I feel like they have that template, and they kind of I
felt the same about the Crab song.
Wait, what was that?
I feel the same way about the Crab song.
Yeah, I know, I do too. Because, like, I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of Chuck weirdness on both of these records that I could have done without. Like, Death March. Like, I don't care how you get to the beach, man. Like, that's such weird. Like, and also,
But then that riff comes in, and it's such a cool song. And
on a
then
way of timeliness, like, I can't imagine paying 95 cents for fucking anything, let alone fare to the beach. Like, that's just nonsense to me now. But after that, yes, the song does develop into a super rad song. But again, it's also there's like a motif that they have on multiple songs that like they kind of improve and make better throughout their career. And I think Crab Song is also one of those. Blood is dope. And for instance, Blood, that reminds me a lot of Rise of the Fall from Soul Invictus. Like that seems like something they went back to, and just the guitar riff part of it mainly. But like, there's like something going on there where I'm like, for the last record, went back in time and we're like, we're going to take those things we did that we weren't so proud of and make them better.
Well, and like I mentioned, the tour I saw them on was for Sol Invictus, and they did a song from every album. So
same. Yeah, I don't remember what all they played from other records, but I do remember a couple tracks that were from the new record, and I was like, yeah, that makes it better. It's so much better live. Like,
sure.
So the reason I put it down here, just for the
than Chuck,
just for the sake of time, because I took a lot of notes here.
Do it.
Introduce Yourself was good. Did not like Chinese Arithmetic. Sounded 280s. It picks up a little bit. Man, Death March was pretty fucking cool. We Care a Lot is great here. R&R. I had to write down these lyrics to recite back to you all.
Do it.
I don't know if this is the dumbest lyrics ever written.
I would say that.
Or if they are the best lyrics ever written.
Which I'll go with that one.
And I quote, "We've got the same ideals. We got the same old fears.
Same old fears. They're different colors sometimes, but hey, who cares?
It's just years that shears our lives apart, like the time you tried to teach your nephew to fart. He couldn't do it. Push."
Keep talking that terminal jive.
I mean, dude, know down below if that is the best lyrics
Chuck is
or
so
the best
an
lyrics.
odd beast, man. Like, because Ann's song is like, the lyrics of that song, if you just read them aloud, you'd be singing what Chuck sang. Like, it's
what
spoken. No, like, I'm just trying to see what you're doing when you're doing what you're doing, what you're doing. Like, I don't.
My notes
crazy, and I love it.
My notes just say Ann's song was so dumb but so good.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what the fuck?
Yep. Sounds about right.
Yeah, like if you can handle Ann's song, you can handle every song on their discography, honestly, because they get weird in a good way, but it's always quality weirdness. Like, the weirdness is always of a level that you wouldn't get from a Weird Al record necessarily. Wow, that was very dark. Right.
But yeah, I think I liked it better than the first one, but I still was not on the Faith No More train at this point.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to see, like, the fuck is that? That's some funny shit.
Yeah, it's there. It does take the next album and beyond, though, to really see the true genius in these first two albums.
Oh yeah. And I am I next on the top?
Yes, you are next. Now is where it gets interesting.
This is very strange that I'm going so chronologically, but yeah, The Real Thing is right here for me. It's my number 5.
What? Really?
Look, man, look.
The album changed your life?
Yeah, look. That's how good this band is. Everything after this is so much better. Like, I can remember the day I had this tape and I listened to it. Like, it's such a vivid memory in my brain. Like, I understand. Like, I know it might be even like seem like a hot take to some fans, even like but there's just so much on this record that doesn't work, whereas other records have a formula that makes it work better. Like, Jesus, let me just read my damn notes. Like, all right, so it isn't paced well. There's got a crazy energetic trio of openers. And then you've got Zombie Eaters and The Real Thing, which are both very long, epic jams, and it doesn't make sense to have them back together. And then there's the whiplash of Underwater Love after that, and then The Morning After, and then it goes into a crazy instrumental, and then a cover song, and then it ends with a piano ballad about pedophilia. Like, it's just a weird fucking record. The pacing doesn't make any sense. It like, on the other side of that, it also feels like, I mean, I know this is a fact, that most of the record was written before Mike joined the band. So a lot of these songs were written with Chuck in mind, probably on vocals. And that, on top of the fact that Mike seemed to be enjoying the fact that he had some sort of notoriety and could make fun of other people and other singers, namely Anthony Kiedis, and more power to him for that.
Well, we'll get there.
We'll get there. I mean, Epic, for one thing. I'm just like, literally, he's aping in the video, doing the Anthony Kiedis, like, I'm a punk rock aggro.
I mean, is he doing the Anthony Kiedis, or is he doing the Milli Vanilli, where we're just doing jumping jacks and the run?
Well, here's the thing. I would say I'm From Out of Nowhere is the Milli Vanilli joke track, which is still a beautiful fucking song. Like I heard Epic on the radio, and then I saw the video for Falling to Pieces as well. And I bought the record like with lawnmower money, like immediately, because I was like 8 years old when this came out. I was a young kid when this dropped. But beyond that, like, it's just like, it's not a complete record. It hints at what will come, and it's got some really great fucking songs. It's in the top 5. I mean, it's not a bad record. It's amazing. It's an amazing record. It's just not as good as everything that came after. And it breaks my heart to say that, but it's an incomplete product, and they did much better after the fact. What you got, Jason?
All right. Well, I'm glad you did that because you're the guy who loves Faith No More. I'm going to put it here as the guy who heard this for the first time.
That's fair. That's good. I don't know. I can't argue, man. I agree.
I'm shocked. That's why I was shocked. I thought this was a hot take, but I guess
this is where we mention that we don't know each other's picks before the show.
No, not at all.
Each other's picks
do you have his number 3, Tim?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're along at number 5. I have it at number 5.
You guys go to town then. Let's hear it.
All right. Opening track, I like the main beat. Other than that, it's okay, I guess. Epic is Epic and Ed Connick. Still a great song.
It's such an iconic song. You're right. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Falling to Pieces, man. Sounds like a Pretty Hate Machine era Nine Inch Nails song if Trent wrote really bad lyrics. I did like Surprise You're Dead. Takes 2 minutes, but Zombie Eaters gets interesting. Multiple chord changes, tempos throughout. Good shit. Okay, The Real Thing starts out almost exactly like a Yellow Card song. Big Apple Heartbreak. It's got the same.
Which one came first?
Yeah, I know Faith No More came first, but it's when that started playing, I started like singing in my head, "This can't be home anymore." I was like, I'm not listening to fucking Yellow Card. What the fuck? And I kept listening, and then I completely diverged. But I did like Underwater Love. It had fun lyrics, upbeat. Shit was a fun ass song.
I love that song.
Just a nice fun song about drowning your girlfriend.
It's a good fucking song,
It was
though.
like the song. It was like pop punk almost, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love the Morning After. Love the bass. I will say, if you can hear, I like that you can hear the bass really well in this band. Like this album, you could really hear the bass.
I'll interject that Billy Gold, the bass player, is one of the primary songwriters of the band. So you're always gonna generally get a badass fucking bass.
Yeah, I like.
I mean, it's his band.
Prominent, really.
He's like the band leader.
Oh, okay.
If Billy doesn't like it, it doesn't go.
If Billy wants to come on the show and talk to us, I would shit my fucking pants. But he would be the guy who did.
Everybody down below at Billy whatever.
Billy Gould.
We love you, Billy.
Now
we love your band.
Spotify fucked me up on this. Woodpecker from Mars. I was, I had it on Spotify, and I had the lyrics up, and the lyrics for Epic started going.
That happened to me a couple times too, honestly.
I was like, oh shit, is this going to be a new, or like a better version of Epic? Because the song was fucking good. And it kept going and going, and like the lyrics never fucking. I was like, okay, Spotify just fucked me up. That was an instrumental, but holy shit, that song was badass.
Also, I need to point out, when I was a kid and I got this tape, Edge of the World came before Woodpecker and before War Pigs. Only on Spotify is it listed as the last track, and I think it works better as a closer than it does than
Yeah,
War
I
Pigs.
It
saw
was
the
the last
War.
track on the compact disc as well.
I
Oh,
saw
okay.
that, but I remember Tim had talked about that in our Patreon video. So I was like, okay, I know that's not part of the album.
Yeah, every format's actually different. It is the next one for me too. And the vinyl version does not have War Pigs or Edge of the World.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jesus. That's a
Um,
completely different listening experience.
it is a different listening experience for sure. The reason why I'm picking this here at number 5, yes, the music was written before Mike Patton joined the band. There is a great version. There's a song out there called "New Improved Song." It's with Chuck, and it's the morning after. And
Oh,
so, if
really?
you want to hear what two singers are doing to the exact same music,
Well, I've heard the Mike Patton version of "Introduce Yourself."
okay, well, but here's another one.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah,
I want to hear that. Is that on anything in particular?
I'm not sure if it's on the deluxe edition, or you got to do a deep dive, but it's out there. It's called "New Improved Song," and it's the morning after with Chuck, and it's fine. But then you hear the morning after, and you're like, oh, clearly the vocals got better. But musically, this is just more of where they're headed. And vocals were always the afterthought with Chuck, and I'm sure you can tell why. And so Patton comes in, writes all of the lyrics for this album in a week, and then they blow up. They're like, the biggest thing, on MTV or whatever.
They
in
played
all
the
magazines.
fuck out of that video.
No, Epic was on
Jesus
24/7.
Christ.
Yeah.
Like, it was funny that you brought up Falling to Pieces and Nine Inch Nails because I have a very firm memory of Head Like a Hole playing on MTV and then they following it up with Falling to Pieces and that just being a magical thing for me. I loved it.
And I'll say it here, we're on record. Korn's entire career is just the bass line to Falling to Pieces, and they're just trying to play that.
And I would say the vocals from King for a Day are more prominent in Korn's music than they are on Angel Dust, which they rep as their most influential record. So,
well, and I don't give enough of a shit about Korn to actually get that deep about it. I just know that like clearly they're just trying to get the magic that is Billy and Puffy.
Tim, I went back. I hated them back in the day. I'm going back and I'm repping them, man. They were very influential and original band. Korn was not terrible.
You're talking Korn?
Yeah, I'm talking Korn.
Holy shit.
We're talking Faith No More here.
But we're also going to talk about the influences they created because sometimes
it comes up a lot in my notes.
We picked it last. I would rather listen to We Care a Lot backwards through like a paper bag than listen to a couple of those Korn albums again.
What the record with Freak on a Leash on it, whatever record that is. If you take out the Fred Durst homophobic rap song on that record is fucking better than Introduce Yourself. I ain't fucking joking.
Okay. Well, so is The Real Thing. I know it's their most popular album. Obviously, Epic is the big hit. And rightfully so. It's a fantastic song. Surprise You're Dead is awesome.
It is.
Zombie Eaters is awesome. The Real Thing is awesome.
There you go. All right, so we all have the same pick so far. So you guys are gonna make me do the hot take, aren't you?
I don't know.
No, I think it's gonna get spicy from here on out for everybody.
I thought 5 was gonna be spicy.
We all had the same top 3, but after this, it's really just a fucking lottery at this point.
After this, it's all number 1.
Yeah, I thought 5 would be the one where we started divulging, but
no, man. You got good taste, Jason. We all agree.
Don't say that yet.
Well, what's number 4?
No,
number 4 is Album of the Year.
Jason.
What?
You do know that my number 4 is album of the year as well, don't you?
No, no,
It
shut the
is.
fuck
It
up.
really is. It really is, man. No shit.
All right, well, let me go through my notes here.
All right.
Didn't care at all for Collision. Had some great parts, had some bad parts. Um, didn't like Strip Search and its weird space sounding shit going on. Didn't care for the last cup either. Naked in front of the computer was fucking awesome though. Helpless. I was listening to all these through headphones, and holy damn, Mike singing on this one is fantastic. Like you can hear
Dude,
his
it's
tongue
almost
hit them.
Yeah.
it's like an Avail song. Like to bring it to the pop punk roots, man. Like it's an Avail. If Avail covered that, it would be fucking amazing.
Yeah. Um, like Collision, I love parts of Mouth to Mouth, but hated other parts. Ashes to Ashes was fine. Back half of this album is the better half. I love She Loves Me Not, so unexpected. Got That Feeling is great. Path of Glory is evil and sludgy sounding, which is great. Homesick Home is short and good. Didn't care for the closing track.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
No,
Well,
that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, to be fair, I agree with you up until Pristina, because Pristina is.
I mean, I love Collision, and he did say he didn't like Strip Search. That's where you lose me like 100%. So
Yeah, I don't. It was like sounded like a fucking.
Dude, it's like they heard a tricky record and we're like, yeah, we can make a trip hop rock song. Let's do that shit, and they did, and it's beautiful.
No, it just
well,
sounded
and
like
have you seen
fucking
the film
aliens.
covering Portishead Glory Box back in '95?
That's what it
Like they
sounded
were
like. A song from a sci-fi movie, TV movie back in '95.
well, yeah. '95 is going to be an important year for this collective as Disco Volante comes out that year as well. So
No, yeah, it was a black period before this record for the band. Honestly, it really was. So
What?
it's fair. Yeah, man.
yeah, yeah. Well, this one was kind of a black period too.
No, that's what
They-
I'm saying. Like this and King for a Day were kind of like the black period for this band.
oh
Honestly.
yeah,
What do you mean by the
100%.
black period?
Like commercially, the U.S. forgot about them. They were
Yeah,
Oh
still
yeah,
but
yeah.
they
Oh
were
yeah.
everywhere
still.
else around the world, but U.S. just gave up on them.
It does blow my mind to find like after the fact that this band, like when this record came out, was when I found out that they were like still huge stars everywhere else in the fucking world except for here.
Yeah.
And this was like kind of like their final coda up until Soul Invictus came out, because I didn't think they were ever going to put out another record after this record. Like it was the
Well, and every song about it's actually about wanting to get out of the band.
yeah for
Yeah.
sure.
All right, so
All right,
we're
what's your
talking
number?
we're talking album of the year, not King for a Day, right?
No, I
Correct.
know. No, I know.
Correct.
No, I am talking album of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that your number 4 too, Tim?
No,
Okay. All right. Well,
I'm the first to deviate.
you give it to me. Give it to me, and I'll go over my notes later. But what you got, Tim?
Well, it's going to answer your question earlier. My number 4 is going to be Sol Invictus.
Okay.
Amazing album. Yeah, nobody thought we were getting anything after album of the year, and yeah, 18 years later we get this, and it wasn't everything I wanted. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Superhero is classic Faith No More. Sunny Side Up is classic Faith No More. Separation Anxiety will give you tonight, or we'll give you a carpal tunnel just listening to it. It's so crazy. Cone of Shame, I mean, ridiculously good. And then the back half too, like Rise of the Fall, Black Friday. The first single is, it's a little weak, but it's also interesting too, because if you think about what
was the first single?
The first single after 18 years was a song called Motherfucker.
Okay.
So they were guaranteed to get on the radio and have a lot of press behind it.
I wasn't sure if it was Superhero or that. I wasn't sure.
No, that was the second one. Motherfucker was the first return of Faith
But
No More.
yeah, but if you
It's a
think
fine
about it,
song.
Faith No More in 2015, do you think he was really wanting to get on the radio?
No,
Like-
clearly they weren't.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. Well, since it's my number 4, I'll just continue to talk about album of the year because it's the record that comes before this. I feel like
Oh,
they work. I feel like
were
they
you done,
work.
Tim?
I guess.
No, go ahead, Tim. I mean, we'll get to talk about this record too, but go. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
You're on a
go, Will,
roll.
go.
I was going to say that like it did feel like they were trying to chase a hit single on this record. It felt like Last Cup of
Well,
Stars.
what album are you talking about? Album of the year?
Album of the year, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I feel like they were trying to chase a single on that record and it didn't happen, and that's part of the reason why it fell apart.
Well, I thought they had 2 pretty successful singles from it in Last Cup of Sorrow and Ashes to Ashes.
Yeah.
Strip Search, they made a video for. I don't know if that did as well. Certainly not in America. I don't think it was ever released here. But
no, I mean, I saw that
Ashes got played. Last Cup of Sorrow got played.
Yeah.
Jennifer Jason Leigh's in the video. Like,
I don't remember any of that, and I watched MTV all the time. Like Epic was the only video I remember.
No, I remember seeing Last Cup of Sorrow come on right before I think the Verve Pipes Freshman.
We're talking 97.
That's very specific, but okay.
It is very specific, yeah, because it's a very specific memory.
97. It was like Green Day's Good
No.
Riddance.
It wasn't Freshman. It was their sophomore release, Villains. It was the song Villains. It sounded like God, man, like kind of like Gritty Fly by Bush. It was like them trying to be edgier. But anyway, like I remember those two coming back and forth on MTV one night. I never saw the video after
they didn't
that.
really they never really came back. Like their height was.
No, this was the closest to a comeback in the States that they had was album of the year for sure.
Huh.
Anyway, I'm done. What's your Tim, I'm sorry for derailing, but what's your number 3?
Oh, okay. Well, my number 3 could be number 1. For many years, I said that, my favorite album was a 3-way tie. But for today, we're going album of the year. I guess just to continue talking about it.
Oh, that's fair.
I think it's a flawless record. There's really nothing bad on here. The what gets me are Patton's background vocals. Just impeccable throughout the whole album. Like you said, Helpless, Paths of Glory, She Loves Me Not, Strip Search. Ashes to Ashes is
an anthem.
It is. And possibly the greatest 2-note guitar solo ever. It's so simple but so effective. Naked in the front of the computer, whenever I'm having a bad day at work. I bought the thing, I fought the thing, and I taught the thing. Gets stuck in my head. They said it's normal, but they're keeping me dumb and hot. Yeah. As I said in the intro, this was the one that really brought me into the fold. It's for many, many years, it's a strong pillar in my Patton Holy Trinity. But for today, it's going to be tied for number 1 at number 3.
So what 3 words would you use to describe this record? Because to me, it's going to be dense.
That'd be one of my words.
Masterly crafted and singular. Those are the 3 words I would come to.
I would have gone with dense, morose.
Yeah, it's dark.
And polished.
It's very polished.
It sounds fantastic.
Like the only reason why it's going a little bit lower on my ranking is because it is very there's such a dense and cohesive production to this entire record that it feels very samey. Like every song, even though it can be completely different, still has a very samey feel to it. Like you could play Last Cup of Sorrow and then play She Loves Me Not, and I would be like, yeah, that sounds like it's from the same record. Like it's weirdly
well, and this was the first one that Billy produced.
Yeah,
he had some help with Relly, Massamon, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
from the Young Gods. Yeah, mostly man. Yeah, at this point, America's given up on them. Yeah, you could, there was a push for Last Cup of Sorrow to be a hit, but it didn't quite catch on. But I fell in love with it. I turned a number of people onto this. I was like, you have to hear this. Because I was listening to it, nonstop, 20 hours a day for, well, probably until California came out in 99 when Matt replaced it.
My story for that record is that I woke up one morning, it was the summertime, and I turned on MTV, and there was a video for the Ben Folds 5, the Battle of Who Could Care Less, and I like loved that song instantaneously and went to Best Buy on my bike to the record store, and that was there. I didn't know it existed. It was there on the day it came out, and I bought both of those records on the same day. And I definitely listened to Album of the Year a lot more than I listened to that Ben Folds 5 record.
The title's kind of a joke, but it's also kind of not.
No, there was like an interview with like what is the Australian AAA, the Australian radio section? Triple J. And they were talking about they opened the interview with being like, so hey guys, you titled a record Album of the Year and it debuted at #1 over here. How do you feel about that? And I lost my shit because I was like, they had a #1 record. This record was #1 anywhere. Like, what the hell is going on? It's just crazy in the narrative that we.
Speaking of Triple J, we missed the opportunity earlier. Faith No More is one of those bands that any live bootleg you hear, you're going to get some awesome treats. They're constantly throwing stuff in, improvising and whatnot. And one of my favorites was from the Real Thing tour. It was a Triple J, like in studio thing. If you can find that, Triple J 1990, it is one of the greatest things you'll ever hear. It is hilarious. They're on fire. Puffy quits halfway through it. Yeah, it's so good. They do the Nestle's theme. They're doing Vogue. They do 911 as a joke. Well worth searching.
Okay, I'll look.
I could see from hearing their studio albums, to me, they sound like a band that would be very different every time you see them live.
Oh yeah,
like you can kind of get that feeling from the albums too.
Yeah,
because every song is just different from the last. Like,
variety is a spice of life,
and they're spicy.
They're spicy.
You go into a new discography like CCR, where it's like you know what you're going to get. You hear one song, you've heard the whole thing. You're like,
yeah, you really have, yeah.
And then to go from that to Faith No More, it's like,
who were just labeled a funk metal band because of their 2 hits,
which they are not a funk metal band
at all.
They're just so progressive in a way that most progressive.
Yeah, there's not many bands like this. Like I had a new appreciation for by the end of this.
And the episode's done.
Yeah,
that's all we needed.
Don't worry about the top 3, even though I'm really excited to see where they're going to be placed. Considering,
well, you're next, so.
Oh, well, I'm going to put Soul Invictus, just because, Jesus, very weird that's the one we switched on.
It's probably nostalgia on my part. I'm not sure where I was on Soul Invictus.
I mean, to be fair, I was going to put Album of the Year at like #2 probably. It was going to be up there, but my recent playthrough and modern hearing changed that. I don't know, man. This record, just the fact that it exists is a miracle. That it's good is icing on that, and that it's like also when most bands make comeback records, they try to capture that feeling of the old times, and they wind up just missing completely. They didn't try to do that. They literally, it sounds like everything that's happened in between Album of the Year and this record happened, and they're all very focused on that. There's certain songs on here that sound like a Morricone or like a lot of the Italian pop that Mike Patton has tried to make popular. It's just a weirdly cohesive record. It sounds like it also harkens back to the original records with Chuck, but with a funeral dirge kind of tone going on. Sure. Dude, it's just such a wild ass record. Soul Invictus, for instance, the opening track, it doesn't remind me of Faith No More. It reminds me of the Irony is a Dead Scene EP with Dillinger Escape Plan that Mike Patton did. there's just something about the chorus that harkens back to that EP, and I can't quite figure it out. But it sounds like
Maybe that part in Pig Latin where they kind of bring it down a little
yeah,
bit.
no,
But
it is. That's what it is. But it's
okay.
like, but you can hear the influence of that one EP that most people haven't heard on this record. Like, it's just crazy how they gave up on trying to one up on a songwriting level, and they were just like, hey, we're grown up, let's just fucking make a record that we all want to listen to. And there's elements on this record that you wouldn't expect, like Sunny Side Up. Holy shit, that is such a weird ass song. Like, I did not like it at all when I first heard the record. Then I saw them play it live, and I've got the entire band Mastodon next to me. I've got a couple of the guys from Filter in front of me, and everybody's singing along to it. It was just such a magical moment that it boosts that song to a different level that I didn't think was possible. Black Friday and Motherfucker are just epically weird and intoxicating at the same time. A lot of the part that I like about this record, more so than Album of the Year, is that lyrically, it's based in reality. Whereas, like, there was a lot of very personal things going on with Album of the Year, but on this one, like, I can understand Black Friday.
Well, so is From the Dead the sequel to Sweet Charity, which was itself the song celebrating the death of Faith No More, after songs like, Helpless and Ashes to Ashes and Home Sweet Home or Homesick Home, and all these songs about just I want to go back. And then there's the parades and Sweet Charity. I'm home free, but now we're back to the parades. Like, hey, even the dead can resurrect.
Yeah, like all right. Honestly, on this record, Separation Anxiety and Cone of Shame are my low points. That's how good this fucking record is. Like, that's not a real low point. It's just a lull in between all the craziness that's surrounding it. Like, those seem like Separation Anxiety seems like a very, very like modern old Faith No More song, just done in a way with like just an intense groove that doesn't just stop. It just doesn't. Is relentless. God, what else? What else have we got? Shit. Black Friday Motherfucker, Delightfully Weird, Riot at the Salad Bar, Predatory Lenders. It's just beautiful. Society and Motherfucker is just like, dude, you get to hear Rod. You get to hear Roddy. You get to hear Roddy Bottom flex his shit.
Yeah, that's one thing I really love about Sol Invictus is
it's really it's communal.
It's the first album since probably Angel Dust that Roddy really contributes to, and he's playing a real piano on it, so it's really nice hearing that come back.
Also, just mad ups to Imperial Teen. What's up? Y'all are awesome. And also it closes with like literally like if Matador and then From the Dead weren't the last songs that ever, if they were the last songs that ever hear from Faith No More, and they might be, I don't know.
I mean, Matador is possibly in contention for top 5. It's so good.
Oh, it's definitely top 5, and if you motherfuckers don't call it, it's my number 1, motherfucker. Like, it's a great fucking song. Like, it builds tension and it releases, and it's just, there's so many different levels of emotion that go through that song. It's just fucking phenomenal. And then From the Dead is just like, we're gonna wash all that tension away with a lovely AM Gold jam, man. Like, it's
which
just
Faith No More has done fantastic throughout.
They're killers, man. Their cover songs are just phenomenally chosen. And if we ever do a B-sides recollection, holy shit. Like, dude, This Guy's in Love with You by Burt Bacharach, the best. It's so good.
If you listen to the deluxe edition of King for a Day, I mean, what other bands do you know are covering Engelbert Humperdinck and G.G. Allen in the same session?
Nobody.
Yeah,
fucking amazing.
Nobody's doing that.
All right, I'm done ranting about this record. What do you got, Jason?
All right. My number 3 and my number 2 could have swapped, but mine is King for a Day.
That's fair.
My top 3 are the only 3 albums that I went back and listened to a couple times because I started when I went to do my top songs. I got fucked up in my order because I was like, oh my god, this one's really good too, but this one's like, so I had to switch some shit around.
Dude, I did the same thing, and I've been listening to this band for fucking 30 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally
Yeah.
fair.
The next episode is going to be one of the toughest.
It's going to be weird. Yeah, for sure. Actually, no, it's not. It's going to be easy because I have a top 24. So I'm just going to pick and choose. It's going to be awesome.
Is easy on there? Is it going to be easy?
No.
All right. Great opening. Love the pace of Get Out. Ricochet was just okay. I did love the line, it's only funny until somebody gets hurt, and then it's just hilarious.
You know the backstory of that song?
No.
I don't know.
Well, you'll appreciate it. Setlist code name. That song is called Nirvana because it was written the day they found out Kurt Cobain died.
Wow.
Putting those lyrics in a completely different light.
Yeah, they do.
Wow.
Damn.
Think about you cracking a smile. Think about you all the while.
Jesus. That just.
Yeah, and of course, Roddy. Of course, you know, we haven't mentioned this episode yet that Courtney Love was in Faith No More before the first album, and her and Roddy remained friends throughout.
They were buds.
And Roddy and Kurt were buddies in the dungeon there for a couple times in the 90s when they were both, you know, distracted by other things. So yeah, that's a personal story. Chris Novoselic has gone on record saying that if Faith No More hadn't broken with the real thing, Nirvana would have never had a chance at the top 40. And
can't argue that, man. Really
yeah.
Can't. Dude, 90 through 92 were just very strange years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know. I cannot wait because we're eventually gonna like have a different series of videos where we go through years.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for that fucking shit.
That's gonna be fun as shit.
It will be.
But yeah, this album, I love the opening for the gentle art. Star AD had some funk, but wasn't really feeling it. Kind of a dumb one. If I want horns, I'll go listen to Les and Jake. Super jarring, going from that to Cuckoo for Kaka. This was a nice heavy one. I did really like Ugly in the Morning. You can see so many bands after that surely had to be inspired by this band. I don't know why I wrote that, but something somewhere probably. Again,
but it's there. Like you could just
like,
hear it. Yeah.
How did you feel about Digging the Grave?
Where's that at?
Oh.
I think it's next. I think it's after Ugly in the Morning. Oh, no, it's after Geraldo Voador.
Oh, I did really like Ugly in the Morning. Was that all? Is that the one you asked about, Ugly in the Morning?
Yeah.
It just says I did really like.
No.
That's the one I said that sounded.
Digging the Grave, the very kind of like pop punky jam.
Yeah, he's asking about Digging the Grave.
Oh, I didn't see anything about that.
All right. Go listen to that song, man. That's fucking amazing.
I got in to take this bottle. I was only half paying attention, doing some video editing, but this song was great. I restarted it, listened to it a second time, like right after I listened to it. King for a Day, Patton's voice did not come out sounding like I thought it would when the music started. It kind of sounds like Bowie. That one fucked me up because like I'm expecting like high Patton and like low Patton comes out of nowhere.
Holy shit, the Bowie reference. We're coming back to that, believe it or not.
Yeah, he sounded like fucking Bowie on that one. First, it reminded me of that crab from Moana, which that was trying to sound like Bowie.
Okay, I never saw that. But
Just
cool
yet
one.
another thing Mike Patton could do vocally.
Jesus Christ, yeah. What a Day is really good. Just a Man sounds like a rejected song from the Labyrinth. Not sure if that is a good thing or a bad thing. Evidence and The Last to Know is what put it in this spot, but it could have been higher. The highs are super fucking high.
You didn't like Evidence?
No.
Wow.
Didn't care for Evidence.
I mean, to be fair, I don't care for Evidence as much as most people do, to be fair. That's
interesting. Fair. Okay, no, that's fine. I'm just making
man, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
I don't see anything about Digging the Grave, so either like
it's one of those songs that like you could totally ignore, but it's
total pop punk. Yeah,
I'll get into it later. Yeah, we'll get into it. But Jason, I think it's your time for number 2 too. Honestly, I think you're next.
Is it? Me, Tim, Will. No, it's your turn.
Me again?
To go first, yeah. Because it went me, Tim, Will.
Well, That's
Me
perfectly
too.
fine because, that's fair because my number 2 is King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime. That's my number 2. I agree with you. Like, it's funny because I remember, like, this was one of the first records that I listened to in the car with my mom a lot. And she heard Evidence and she thought it was a David Bowie song. Like, and that's just one of those things that I was like, what a weird fucking coincidence there. She thought that was David Bowie. And I'm like, oh man, that's Faith No More. She's like, oh, you mean that band you used to love that your dad hated because they had a name that sounded like it was against God? And I'm like, yeah, that's the band, bud. It's dope. Jesus, God, where do I start? Okay, so I remember being on a family trip and we went to Memphis and we went to the record store in the mall because they had an ice skating rink, which was something I had never fucking seen because I'm from fucking coastal Alabama and it was fucking madness. But
We
we
have
went to
one
the
here in Houston.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was in Houston much later in my life, so it was a different vibe. I was more interested in the comic shops in Houston than I was the mall. But dude, like we went to the record store like you do. We all had that experience. You go to the mall, you go to the record store, and you see what's out. And I didn't know Faith No
Not
More.
like I'm going to hang out in J.C. Penney.
Like I didn't buy Angel Dust until later in life. Actually, after I bought this record. So, I bought it, but I didn't like it. But this record, I saw it in the store. And I was like, all right, I'm going to buy it. And by this time I had heard Minor Threat and Black Flag and all these other punk rock records. I was still 13 when it came out. And it came out and I bought it and I put it in my Walkman on cassette and hit play and heard the opening fucking hardcore fucking riffage of Get Out. And I was just like, this record speaks to me already, man. And then Ricochet came out and like it kind of felt like an alternative rock. Like it was definitely influenced by the times it came out in. But that hook, man, it's only funny until somebody gets hurt and then it's just hilarious. Is going to live forever in my psyche. It is just such a brilliant fucking song. And they pull out.
What else lives forever?
Huh?
You know what else lives forever?
Well, yeah, we'll get there. I'm going track by track, buddy. We'll get there. And then I heard Evidence, and it's just like I didn't like it at the time because I'm just not a vibe on that kind of feel of a song, especially not at 13. I wasn't expecting to use my penis for anything sexy, you know what I mean? Let alone open a hole. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of sex going on in that song. It's a very sexy song. I think it might be about analingus, actually. I'm not 100% certain. But yeah, and
knowing Mike Patton, you're probably onto something there.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there later in the album Experience, there's a song called Kaku for Kaka, which kind of just added to that. But Gentle Art of Making Enemies, like anytime it's one of my friends' birthdays, I will call them and go, "Happy birthday, fucker!" Like it's just such a great song. Like this whole record is whiplash. Like one song's crazy, the next song's like a completely different vibe, and then it's a crazy song again. Like Jesus, Gentle Art of Making Enemies is a thing. And then Star ID pops up and you're like,
what are these on the same album?
What the fuck is happening? Like it literally blew my goddamn mind as a 13-year-old. Like I didn't think you could fit all this together and make it be cohesive and make it make sense. But you know what? Star ID is one of my favorite fucking songs now, dude. It's a beautiful fucking jam. Like those horn sections are fire, dude. It's good. Cuckoo for, I don't know what to say about Cuckoo for Kaka. I really don't. I don't particularly give a shit about the song. It's just weird and it makes Mike Patton sound like a superhero, but
I like Cuckoo for Kaka.
I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong, but like
my note says super jarring going from that to Cuckoo for Kaka. So yeah, it is very jarring.
And after that, you go to, and I'm probably mispronouncing it because I don't know how to speak Portuguese, but Carajo Varado. I don't know.
Close enough.
Translated to English is Flying Dick.
And they all know
me. There you go. Faith No More, my friends. Faith No More. It's a gorgeous fucking song about driving drunk and finding a prostitute for a sexual encounter, I think. I don't understand what's happening. But it's so beautiful and gorgeous and just sexy and just like wildly like just not what I was expecting from this band, especially considering I only heard Angel Dust one time before I heard this record, and I didn't like Angel Dust at the time. We're gonna get there though, because spoiler is my number one. Digging Ugly in the Morning after that, and then Digging the Grave. Digging the Grave for me, like as somebody like kind of found punk and like the roots of pop punk before this record. I was like, dude, this is like the Beatles for fucking now, man. Like, this is such a great pop song. It's got a driving opening riff, just opens up with like fucking let's go. And then the chorus is just so singable. It's just a great jam. And Jason, you should go check it out again because it's a good song. Take This Bottle is a perfect bar ballad. I don't really know what else to say about it, but it feels like whatever influences they had on this record, they took it, they gripped it, and they fucking ripped it. Like they did not fuck around. Like if you're gonna make a bar song, yeah, Take This Bottle. Yeah, it's the best version ever. Bob Seger couldn't write that fucking shit. It's fucking amazing.
Hey now, hey now.
No, it's true.
Get up off Bob.
I'm not dissing Bob. I'm just saying this
Eric
is
Clapton couldn't have wrote that song.
Eric Clapton can fuck off as far as I'm concerned. Bob Seger's cool. Fuck Eric Clapton.
But yeah, well, I'll talk about Take This Bottle later.
I'm going off, man. I'm sorry. But The Last to Know, epic and expanse and breath. It feels like the ultimate Faith No More song at this time, like because it's got that vibe that kind of just fits everywhere. But dude, Just a Man, that song's fucking bonkers, dude. All right, it starts out as like a weird island, like an islands fucking reggae song, and then just breaks out into the greatest gospel song ever not written by Kirk Franklin. Like it's fucking amazing, man. Like to this day, I hear that song and I go like, I should go to fucking church, even though I don't believe in this shit. I should go to fucking church. That's how fucking dope that song is. And that's all I got. I probably went on way too long, and I apologize for that. But
No, you're good.
Holy shit! I mean, my number one's gonna be longer, so I'm sorry.
Anybody watching this knows how we go now.
That's
We
right.
talk
That's
a
right.
lot.
And
Just
this is a
imagine,
band we like.
yeah, three old drunks in a bar sitting around talking. That's basically this show. So
Except we can't punch
Who
each
you
other.
calling a bar?
We can't hijack the shitty internet jukebox. So this is all we got.
that's right. And if you'd like to come hang out on the show with us, let us know below.
We're in the Discord.
Or the
Like,
We're
Facebook.
on Facebook in the group.
We're all
We're-
right.
we are not on
the
Thread,
TikTok.
though.
We're on the Twit box. We're everywhere.
Well, we're on Instagram, which means technically we're on Thread because this is the
Are we
same.
on Instagram?
Yeah. No, Thread is an Instagram thing. Yeah.
I don't
We're
know
not
if
on
we're on
Instagram either.
Instagram.
It's meta, bro. It's meta. Seriously.
Well, whatever.
Okay. My
Find
number
us
two.
and let us know. how to
Elon
get-
Musk.
The point is, we get off topic a lot.
We do. Because we love each other. That's all.
So
All it is.
this might be the hot take then, but I'm going Angel Dust.
That is a hot take then. Holy shit. I'm really impressed that you're number one. Good job.
All right.
Dude, I'm happy with your top three.
Oh yeah, my top three are badass. Like I loved all
No,
three of the top three.
Bruh. You right, bruh. You right.
Oh yeah. I see. Land of Sunshine grabbed me instantly, way better than the Real Things opening. Caffeine fucking kicked ass. It just sounded dark and evil. Midlife Crisis. I knew of this song from Rock Band 3. Drum beat was kind of a bitch to play. It's a decent song. RV. What the fuck was that? I ain't about to guzzle. No tears. So kiss my ass. Top song contender? Question mark.
I'll just
Yes.
tell you, my daddy told me. You ain't gonna amount to
My
nothing.
pants fall down every time I bend over. And
My feet itch.
Smaller and smaller. Wow, that guitar riff with the piano doing the same thing sounded fucking good. Everything's ruined. This music sounded like it could have been on the Neverending Story soundtrack. That is a compliment. I love this one. Patton does some amazing vocals. Didn't really like Malpractice. It was okay, had a few good parts, but just wasn't feeling it. Kindergarten was fun as hell, loved it. Be Aggressive sounded really familiar, like I heard it before, but I don't remember when or where. Not like, not like was that a single or something? Because like I heard,
No, no.
No,
But
no,
like
it's a fan favorite though.
any gay man that heard that song would play it for you. Like they
I
would just
know
play it for you because it's so pro and so prideful and beautiful. It's wonderful.
I might have had a gay person friend play it for me. I don't know. I've heard that song before.
I'm sure it's been on a mixtape or two since
Well, I mean,
1992.
dude, to be fair, you were in high school. You heard a cheer squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's gonna wreck with you anyway. Like that's the hook is the cheerleading part of it.
Is that the hook?
Yeah. Be aggressive. Yeah, dude, that's
Yeah,
straight,
yeah.
man. Like that's high school fucking football, man.
No, I know. I was trying to make a joke there, but
No, I
Yeah,
got the
yeah,
hook.
yeah. No, yeah. That hook, yeah, I'd heard from high school and shit. But like the whole song together, I'd heard that song before.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
nothing wrong with that.
All right,
No.
this is where my notes kind of like get a little weird. A small
What's
victory. It just made me feel something. Dot dot dot. Something. Dot dot dot. I loved it. That's all it
Yeah,
says.
dude, you got to watch the
Perfect.
video for it. It's so good. The video.
Did you listen to that one in headphones?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you felt. With the cash registers and the
Dude, it was. That was
Yes.
a fucking experience.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That was like a ride at Universal Studios almost.
that was a top 40 hit.
It was
Was it?
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I saw, like, dude, literally, I saw the
Super
video.
fancy video.
There was a video for that on 100. Not when Headbangers Ball. Actually, it was
It was
Headbangers Ball.
both. They played that one on both.
I saw Headbangers Ball, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna give this record another listen. Like it was that big. Like
I don't remember that at all. Like
was
that
a
was
thing.
the first time I had heard it, or that I remembered hearing it.
Well, it wasn't a big hit. Midlife
was top
Crisis was a
40.
big hit.
Yeah, midlife. I remember midlife crisis. I'm
Yeah.
talking about a small victory.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like Midlife Crisis was a bigger hit than Small Victories, so it makes sense that you
Okay.
might not have heard it. Is all I'm saying. Yeah,
Oh, I thought it was like top 40.
it
It
was, but there was a lot in the top.
But
40.
Midlife Crisis was like top 10.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it was up there.
All right.
Notes on Crack Hitler,
Yeah.
Jizz Lobber.
Crack Hitler again. That bass. Jizzlobber just sounded sinister. I liked it. Midnight Cowboy was not as good a closer as Woodpecker from Mars, but it was still a chill way to end the album. Like I
Well, it's
really
a
like this album.
It's a cover too. It was from
Yeah. It's
yeah.
it's the movie soundtrack thingy.
Yep.
Yeah,
It was
man.
great, and but it just wasn't like Woodpecker from Mars was special.
Dude, it's like Slayer with a keyboard. Like it's just so good. With Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Midnight was a really good closer. Like there was nothing wrong with that song. Like it was just a different kind.
Well,
of
and then if
closer.
you get the bonus tracks, it goes immediately into their cover of Easy
Yeah,
as well, which is a real nice transition. And then you get Das Schützenfest,
Which is not.
which top
good.
song? It's so good.
I could easily though
Put
put
that top five, I'm going to be disappointed in you, Tim. That's all I'm going to say.
I could put King for a Day over this one at any point. Like both those albums were.
No, yeah, dude, for real, my top three are interchangeable. Honestly,
Mhm.
there's a reason narratively, but other than that,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, this is the first time I ever did this show where I actually went back and like and I was like, that's why I told you guys, I was like, 1 week is not enough for this fucking band.
it's really not. No, and a lot of these songs, like I did not like initially when I heard them the first time, but like literally over years of hearing them has made them develop and mature in my brain. Like it's crazy.
There's so much going on though. Like it almost reminds me of Beck. Like you hear a Beck album, you could hear a Beck album
No, yeah,
50 times and still like catch something new.
yeah,
You get that with these, like, because you go back and listen to it, like, holy shit, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Oh no, it's literally like one of those things where like every year I can hear one of these songs and be like, did not think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, considering I've heard it so many fucking times. It's wild how they grow on you. It's really wild.
Yeah, I was impressed. Anyway, Tim, what's your number 2?
Okay, so everything you just said about Angel Dust, I agree with. And that makes King for a Day my number 2.
Okay, I was about to say, damn. I was
He
like,
didn't
dude,
get me that time. He didn't get me. I knew he was gonna do that because he
no,
did
dude,
that
no.
before.
Dude, I had
He
that
didn't get me
T-shirt
that
in
time.
8th grade, man. I love this record a lot. But
Yeah, a flawless. My top 3 are absolutely interchangeable as well. For a number of decades, it came down to which one did I hear last. That's my favorite.
to be fair, my top 4 are interchangeable. Like really, like
Well,
those
to be fair, I'll listen to We Care a Lot all day long. Like
okay.
all
Yeah,
7
yeah.
of these are
That is
fantastic.
very fair. That is
And
fair.
there's first place, and then there's second place, and that's basically it. And then there's Chuck. So my jams on this
drummer
one are,
cough.
I love Evidence. It's very cinematic to me, especially during the guitar solo. Every time that guitar solo hits, I hear something. I see something behind my ear that's very cinematic. And The Gentle Art of Making Enemies is incredible. I love Cuckoo for Kaka. I love Ugly in the Morning. I love Dig in the Grave. I love Take This Bottle, which that is the entire side C. That's just a banger. King for a Day is one of my favorite songs of all time. What a Day is like the morning after, but even better. And yeah, Just a Man. Put that on repeat, and like Icarus, fly too high to the sun.
Like, dude, like I hated the little poet break in there, but dude,
See, I love it. Like that song's flawless. This album's flawless. Shout out to Trey Spruance. This is the album he did for Mr. Bungle. Mr. Bungle was first on Disco Volante the same year. Completely different album. But they both kind of share a lot of same things. This is guitar wise, this is their best album.
Yeah, it's definitely more guitar focused than previous records.
Well, and
I on that. I do feel for Roddy on that, but same.
Well, that was his choice, and Trey being just the awesome musician that he is, and being in a position where he really went in to help them, like he really brought these songs to life, and really helped, I think, Billy and both the Mikes really hone in their vision of what this band is, going all the way back to We Care a Lot, and post being on the cover of Teeny Bopper magazine, and climbing the backdrop on Saturday Night Live, and all this other wacky shit that they got to do. Rockin' Rio 91, if you haven't seen that video, it's a must.
So Tim,
Yep.
How do you feel about the fact that Trey wouldn't tour, and like what would album of the year in Soul Invictus be if Trey were still playing guitar for that band? Because you're a Mr.
That's a good question.
Like you're a
Mr. I love John Hudson. No, go ahead. Say again.
I was saying, I want to hear your theory about that, because you are a Mr. Bungle guy. I'm not a Mr. Bungle. I like California, and that's about
it. Well, especially if you consider what the Secret Chiefs 3 did in the years, especially after California. I think that if Trey had remained in Faith No More, and it had been like basically, if I'm hearing you right, is if Trey and Mike had continued to work together, I think it would have come out somewhere between Peeping Tom and this newest Mr. Bungle album. I think they would have gone thrash, but really poppy thrash.
So like they would have sacrificed Jim to have Jim.
Well, they did sacrifice Jim.
No, I know they did. I kind of wish Jim would have stuck around, honestly.
Well,
it's been weird.
I mean, you can hear it though on Angel Dust.
I'm
talking about that album yet, but
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, I missed that. Say it again.
Jizzlobber for sure. Like that's a Jim song.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's the only one he brought to the table.
I know. Look, I'm not defending Jim. He was the best mascot for a band you could ever have. Like, and I wish he would have stuck with it, honestly.
Well, and I'm not sure how we're talking about Jim when you're asking me about Trey, but
well, no, we jumped topic. To be
yeah,
fair,
no, I know.
More interested in how you felt Trey would change shit, but it felt like you were saying they would be more thrash, which is something I feel like Jim would have liked to have been too. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, this is a new theory to me. I don't have like a specific answer here, so I can't answer your question specifically. I can just riff, and I think that like, yeah, like Secret Chiefs 3 dabble in like some real black metal stuff, and even like the real dancey like Zulkafar stuff. Technically, it's really fast, and I think if Trey and Billy, who was in Brujeria, you know, and Puffy, who was in Sabbath, you know, if they had remained like this main musical core, yeah, I do. I think it would end up sounding closer to where Mr. Bungle is right now. Is all I'm saying, really.
Okay, because I haven't heard the new Mr. Bungle album because I really.
Oh. Oh, you're in for a treat then.
Yeah. We should review them soon.
How many albums they got?
4.
Yeah, it'll be
that's
easy.
an easy one. We'll slide that in somewhere.
Oh, it's not an easy one. You do have to listen to Disco Volante.
If you've gone through the Faith No More discography, I think it'll be easier than not.
Okay.
You know, like I think we'll be able to make it no problem. I mean, Caca Volante, Jesus. Anyway.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go first since I'm the only one that's different.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And I'm going with Soul.
See, Jason, I love you. That's so beautiful. That's a wonderful, wonderful excuse for a number one. I love it. It's beautiful.
Give my number. I didn't give my reasoning.
It's so good, dude, though. I agree with you.
Oh, you pulling a mulligan?
You can give that's bad. It's good. It's great.
You pulling a mulligan?
No, I'm not pulling a mulligan. I'm just saying, like, I get it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Agree with you, sir.
I really, really fucking like the opening track. Superhero kicked ass. Great fucking lyrics. So far, so good. Love Sunny Side Up as well. Cone of Shame was fucking good too. My notes is like really just because I was just like, holy fuck, damn, shit. Like I didn't catch any like detailed notes. Oh, I just say Cone of Shame.
Still the same song?
Huh?
Like, is this still the same song?
Yeah, like you don't know.
I gotta check.
You don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Cone of Shame reminded me of like Old Green Jelly, which was fucking badass. Rise and Fall was fun. Black Friday was really damn good. This album could be number one for me. I don't know why I typed it. Motherfucker was so good. Top song contender. I didn't know it was a fucking single. That makes no sense.
It's the first single, apparently. That's so
after
good.
18 years.
That's that's weird.
Hello, motherfucker.
So, I mean, that's going to take us into the conversation. I'll let you finish, but that is going to take us into conversation on the next album.
Okay. That song reminded me of the Butthole Surfers. This was the most consistent album for me. I really liked every fucking song. I think From the Dead is their best closer.
Wow. Okay.
Jason, this is why I love this band. And before we have to take a mad break, I want to say that the fact that you have your top 3 are absolutely correct, and I love you for it. That's
because they're your top 3, just in a different order.
No, because look. Outside of your problem with Soul Invictus, Tim,
which I have no problem with.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I didn't get to explain why it's number 4 for me, but that's okay.
I'm just glad our 7, 6, and 5 are all identical because the top 4 are really subjective and it's beautiful. That's all I'm saying. It's magnificent.
Yeah, we all have the same bottom 3 and the same top 4.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, right. Funny how that works.
There's only 7, buddy.
Yeah.
And action. So when you get that craving for 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, remember, McDonald's Big Mac is only 95 cents all this month. Cut! Cut. Well, how did I do? Was it okay?
You just caused a major Big Mac attack. Can we move on, Mr. Townsend?
Sure, what's up next?
Egg McMuffin,
Is it 95 cents too?
just for this month.
Then we'd better hurry up.
Welcome back, Tim. Will, what's your number one?
Well, if you haven't figured it out yet, Jason,
It is Angel Dust.
is the album that Kerrang! Magazine, which is a very highly reputable UK magazine, listed as the number one most influential album of all time.
And we're on that track. As somebody that just physically hates nu metal, like from the deepest core of my being, this album influenced that shit. And you know, you can't argue with greatness. You really can't. You just have to accept it. What happens after.
Well, and yeah, listening to these again today, like as we've said multiple times, it's really the last 3, possibly 4 top albums we've talked about here. Interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it's really hard to deny this album. It is so flawless. Yeah, Jason mentioned it earlier, that bass in Crack Hitler. If every bass sounded like that on every album, I would be happy. That's like one of my favorite bass tones of all time. Like literally, like not a bad song. So fun story I've got is, as I mentioned earlier, I really didn't like get into like hardcore buying these and listening to these until album of the year. And so I had heard Angel Dust, but it was just on a shelf somewhere. And there was this song stuck in my head. And like for years, I had no idea what it was. And then I finally went back to Angel Dust, and there it was. It was Everything's Ruined. It was just like stuck in my head, and I had no idea what it was. And so, yeah, it's one of my favorite songs. Midlife Crisis, written by somebody in their 20s. As somebody who has lived through their 30s, nailed it. My head is still like lettuce. Caffeine is so heavy. RV is so good. It's just so good. Land of Sunshine. I mean, who else is putting fortune cookies and the Church of Scientology questionnaire together? Be Aggressive is great. I love Malpractice. Super heavy, but also oddly pretty, which is a staple, I think, of Patton's writing. That is a song Patton brought to the band. This is the album, I think, where Faith No More turned it around. Like the 7 through 5, which is their first 3 albums. The first one with Patton. I mean, the real thing is Baby Patton. But between that and this, they also did the first Mr. Bungle album. And I think that really informed Mike on what his voice was capable of doing. And so he really kind of took it for a test spin on this album. And it's just incredible. It is it's a desert island album. It's if you only had one to listen to for the rest of your life and someone gave you Angel Dust, you'd be okay. Highly recommend the deluxe version. Great B-sides. As I mentioned also earlier in the video, on the B-sides, Patton, they remake As the Worm Turns from the first album. And just another example of Patton singing the early songs and absolutely destroying it. What do you say, man? Just
I was like, ride the lightning levels of praise.
I think this is better than Ride the Lightning.
This is Ride the Lightning Part 2, motherfucker.
Yeah, this is one of the best alternative heavy not pop albums made in the last 40 years.
No.
Easily.
Yeah. It's
Um,
a very influential fucking record.
and it doesn't get old. Like another album I've heard a gazillion times, and listening to it earlier today, just like, oh yeah, I'll put that back on again because I haven't heard it a million times this month. But it's been about a month since I've listened to it because like this album doesn't go far. So good. It's so good. Yeah. And if you haven't seen the video for Everything's Ruined, do yourself a favor and YouTube that right now.
Like in my notes for Everything's Ruined, I just say, just go watch the video. Appreciate it. Like it's a perfect pop song to begin, but when you see the video from like a Six Flags, like 24
Photo man, yeah.
Blue Room kind of thing, you're just like, yeah, man, this fucking jam, dude. I was raised by MTV, so when the news that a new Faith No More record was happening, I knew about it. And I remember seeing the debut on it, like on a Saturday in between Wild and Crazy Kids and whatever else was coming on Nickelodeon at that point. And
The Hidden Temple.
Yeah, something like that, probably. that fits. But like the video actually scared me. It fucked me up. Like
so that would have been what, Midlife Crisis, where the dude gets.
Oh, it was Midlife Crisis. Yeah, it was the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the video for Midlife Crisis. Yeah. I didn't understand what was happening, even though I worshipped the real thing. Like it scared me. Year or two later, I had heard more aggressive music and more heavy music, like Nine Inch Nails, Slayer, a bunch of things. But to me, it was just like I saw the video for A Small Victory on Headbangers Ball, which we mentioned previously. Amazing. And I was like, I like this song. It doesn't scare my 10 to 11-year-old mind as much as Midlife Crisis. And I went back and listened to the record I bought, and it still scared me. I didn't like it. So King for a Day comes out. I was in the Minor Threat. I was in the fucking Black Flag. I was in the Dead Kennedys. I was in all this punk rock, hardcore punk shit. And King for a Day fit in that paradigm. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go back and listen to Angel Dust now. And suddenly it all fucking clicked. It all made every sense in the fucking world after hearing King for a Day. That's why like 1 and 2 for me can be completely fucking switched. It doesn't really fucking matter. They're both classics. Mm-hmm. But King for a Day made me appreciate this record more, and this record made me appreciate King for a Day more. Like it's just a symbiosis of fucking awesome. Like, what is it, like dolphins swimming?
Well, and I kind of had the same experience. So yeah, obviously we're talking about Faith No More here, but I'm hard on the Mike Patton train. I'm a fan of all of it. And Mr. Bungle for the longest time only had 3 albums. And then they put out that last one, which apparently Will hasn't heard, and that's just criminal. But after hearing the newest...
I only know the self-titled Coca Volante in California.
Disco Volante, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so now the 4th album is The Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny demo.
But isn't that like the new record isn't like basically them just covering their demo? Like,
yeah.
Is it new?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes and yes.
Okay.
Yes. But listening to that one, at some point I went back to Disco Volante, and it made even more sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, like it's all connected. And like, yeah, you listen to a song like Strip Search and you can totally hear the Peeping Tom stuff coming out. And you listen to a song like, oh God, let me think, like even a Take This Bottle or something. And oh yeah, here comes Tomahawk hard, or
you're right.
So, and yeah, I mean, all these albums are so good. All these musicians are fantastic. Anything they put their names on, you should listen to. And that includes like the weirdest Mike Patton stuff you can find, and it's out there.
Yeah, it is. It is.
All right, well, that kind of wrapped it to our final thoughts here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I still have
Trying
more
to
to
be
say.
seamless.
I'm sorry that Tim interrupted me, but that's fair because I interrupted everybody else. But I still have more to say about this fucking record, man. I'm not done. I'm not done talking about this record.
Okay.
Look, man, I
else you got to say?
I wrote an essay, man. We're gonna go for it. It's not gonna be as interesting as me bitching about not talking about it, but we'll go. RV is weird. It's
great.
Well, I mean, like at the time when it came out, it was weird. It was weird as shit. But now I'm listening to modern country and how it's so influenced by rock music and hip hop, and I'm like, nothing about that is happening in RV, but it still somehow makes RV make sense in context of the rest of this record. And
sure, okay,
it's fucking weird. The mania and commerce and self-help sarcasm as Land and Sunshine are just fucking wild. The intensity and power of caffeine, midlife crisis, what's till this day still gives me goosebumps. It was a horror vibe of swirling vocal melodies and transcendence. It's fucking amazing. Dude, the fucking Native American fucking vocal breakdown in the middle of Smaller and Smaller. What the fuck? That is so good. It is so amazing and perfectly put.
Check out Tom Hawk's Anonymous album if you haven't.
It all bleeds into that. For real, it really does. Everything's Ruined is just one of the finest pop songs ever conceived, and the video proves that in a weird way if you like BBC humor. Malpractice and Kindergarten keep the vibe of heavy fucking consequence going. Like, both of those songs are just about the consequence of making a bad decision, and it's fucking triumphant how they bleed that together. Be Aggressive, speaking of triumphant, is the most prideful song about sucking dick I've ever fucking heard. It is amazing. I've never sucked a dick personally, but all the power to you for doing so. I mean,
it's no Wake Me Up Before You Go, but okay.
No, it's infinitely better than that.
No, I know. It was a bad joke. I'm so sorry.
Small Victory might be the greatest Faith No More song ever written.
Which one?
A Small Victory.
Yeah,
It's got this fucking Eastern harmonic thing happening, and at the same time, it's blended with like a metal butt rock vibe. But like, it's fucking intense and amazing. There's literally nothing about that song. Like, dude, there's like American hip hop rap rock thing going on in that song, but long before that, it was even a thing. Like it shouldn't bother me. No, it shouldn't. Nope. Like, that's so fucking proto hip hop rap rock. It's so fucking
well,
good.
And even the panning on the keyboards with their little like cash register noises and cats and stuff.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Jack Hitler is a weird film noir, but also disco song. Like, I don't understand why it exists, but I'm so happy it does. Like, it's so fucking weird, and I love it. The album could have ended with Jill Lauber. It could have. It is the best core song ever written. I think it's better than a lot of Megadeth songs. It's definitely better than a lot of Metallica songs. It's fucking great. But then they do follow through with goddamn, I do. All right, for one thing, that song should be a fucking Castlevania soundtrack song for everyone. Like, it's so good.
You're still talking about Jizzlobber?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Castlevania, it's so good. And they kill with Midnight Cowboy, which I didn't know was a cover until later in life when I was listening to it while my mom was in the car, and she was like, "Oh, this reminds me of this movie I saw once about a male gigolo."
Great movie.
Like, you know what? That's where it's from, and that makes perfect sense on the Faith No More fucking record. That's beautiful.
Yep.
And I never my original copy of Angel Dust didn't have Easy on it, but
it's Japanese releases.
It is the perfect ending after all of this chaos. And then, like, a subdued kind of like vibe on Midnight Cowboy, but to cover it with goddamn Lionel Richie and the Commodores, like, it's just classic. It's a beautiful thing. And the video is great because there's a bunch of men dressed like women. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done. I'll shut the fuck up.
All right. Final thoughts, anybody?
I love this fucking band. That's mine.
Yeah, I second that. I third it. and I'm probably going to listen to Faith No More again this week.
Yeah, same.
Even though I have homework to do and I have to listen to other bands, I'm still going to creep in some Faith No More.
We got an
Who
easy
is-
week next week. That dog.
I don't even know who we're doing next week. I'm going to
That
check
dog,
it.
right? Is that dog, right?
It's that dog, yeah. 4
Okay,
hours.
That
yeah.
dog. Okay. Yeah. So I got to listen to those.
That's
but-
in preparation for like the Green Day Tori Amos back to back we're about to do.
Like, I feel like that dog might actually be like the Faith No More of girl rock. Like they're on a different level.
Stay tuned next week and find out.
Yeah. My final thoughts are I didn't know this band really, but those last 3 albums, like I want to go back to because
And you
there's
should.
so much more to them.
Well, and every
And
time
even
you go
parts
back
of the
to
fourth
them,
one,
I would
even-
suggest going back to the other ones as well.
You know,
the other ones though, I just didn't.
You don't have to as often, but
I
occasionally.
will say one of my top songs was off of one of those earlier ones, and it just got bumped off after my second listens.
What was it?
So-
What was it?
It was the Crab song.
Oh.
That's a
It
good
got
one.
bumped from 5th to
You know
6th.
what? You know what? You should put it in your top 5 because I'm not putting it in the fucking top 5. That's for sure.
I know, right? Stay tuned to find out who puts
Stay
it in
tuned
their
to
top
find out.
5.
Hit that like, subscribe button down there. Hit the little bell thingy so you can.
And tell us your favorite Faith No More song, album, whatever you want. Tell us.
And
your
also,
favorite
if your name
podcast
is
story.
Billy Gould, come hang out with us and chat with us about these records. That would be
At-
awesome.
At Axel Rose on Twitter.
Fuck you, Axel.
Tell him Will is looking for him.
Get in the ring.
Stay safe. Make good decisions.
And care a lot.